Hi, Steve.
Hi, Gary.
How you doing?
All right.
What we did today then?
Part 2 of 2 on the brake calipers.
Yes. So if anyone hasn't seen part 1, if you can go back and have a look at the part 1, you'll be able to see.
Goes through in detail.
Yeah, indeed. Okay, so let me turn the camera around and we'll carry on.
We took the pistons out. Showed you how to get the pistons out. Took the seals out. Cleaned in behind the seals, all the crud, which is what causes the problem with seized pistons. Cleaned it all up, washed it out, put the seals in, put the pistons back in, took the burr off the pistons, popped them back in. And if you remember, if you watched part 1, the bleed nipple had snapped off.
Yes.
Flush.
Yeah. Yes.
That was fun. that was fun getting that out. I've got here a set of extractors, and what you do, you drill into it, you drill the hole big enough to take one of these reverse thread tapered extractors. The idea is it screws in anti-clockwise, grips and pulls the thread out.
Yeah.
In theory.
Yeah, in theory, yeah.
In theory. However, as you can see, that little bugger snapped off inside.
Oh dear.
And for those Marvel fans out there, these are harder than vibranium, which is the hardest metal known to man. It's not. It's a stud extractor that snapped off in your hole.
Vibranium.
Vibranium.
Right, okay.
Yeah, Captain America's shield was made from vibranium. It's the hardest metal known to man. It's not. Right. It's not. It's these bloody stud extractors.
And how much is a set of those then, Steve? Roughly?
Oh. 20 quid?
20 quid?
I think 20 quid. Under 30 quid. Because I'm tight.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
About 20 to 30 quid, something like that. Now, the big ones, look at that. You ain't going to snap that off.
No.
But I ain't really sure what you're going to be
pulling out
extract with that either. Christ, the propeller from the Titanic or something. But yeah, the smaller ones have snapped. That's 2 I've snapped so far. But yeah, once you snap off a stud extractor in what you're trying to get out, it's almost game over.
Oh, because it stays inside.
It stays in.
Left.
It stays in. So, what I did, and you can upload these photos that I sent you. I welded a washer.
Yes, it's on here.
Oh, that's the one I got out.
Yes.
Right. Now, that's your bleed nipple hole. Right. Yep. So if you imagine the bleed nipple snapped off nice and flush.
Yep.
I put a washer over the top, blasted it with a welder. If you haven't got a welder, good luck. But I blasted it with a welder. I put a nut over the top, blasted that with a welder, and then put some mole grips on it. You would normally just weld inside the nut, but it was quite a deep nut and I couldn't really see what I was doing. So I welded the whole thing up.
Right.
Put some mole grips on it, and I heard that legendary crack as it came out.
Because there's nothing left to snap, I guess.
Well, no, the welds can break off what you're attaching it to.
Right.
As you're trying to ream it out, the welds can break off, but you do it again, you just keep going with it, because the constant heating up and expansion starts disturbing the rust that's holding
what's holding it there
that stud in.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had that legendary crack. It was a bit tight. I sprayed it and worked it and worked it and worked it, and out she came.
Nice.
Out she came. I've bought, and this has been on my bucket list for several years. It's just one of them things you keep forgetting to order. I bought a whole set of nipples. I like nipples. So I've got loads now. So that nipple is in the one that broke off. There it is. So all nice and new.
Oh, nice. Look at that. So you don't have to bleed it that other way that you said before.
No, that was going to be a bit Heath Robinson, but I did get the nipples in time for this video. So
what's this? Is the caliper from the other side?
This is the caliper from the other side. There's no point in you watching me do the same thing again, pulling the pistons out. Yeah. However, this one was a lot more stubborn.
Really?
Than this one. Yeah, it was a pig. It was a real pig. But no, this one, if you watch the first video, I had to put back on the bike.
Did you?
And bleed it.
Oh, because the airline wouldn't do it?
No. Wow. And I had to pump it out hydraulically to get the pistons out so that you can get a grip with your grips and wiggle it just a little bit and out they come. Yeah, I did have to do that with this one. Fortunately, this one didn't have a problem with the bleed nipple. So I've cleaned it out, red rubber greased in the seals, put the pistons back in by hand because all the crud's gone.
Yes.
So it's just nice and easy. So, right, those are the brake pads. I'll just clean the edges up because they had a bit of corrosion on them.
Okay.
Just so they go nicely. Now, where we stopped last time was just putting the pistons in.
Yes.
So if we carry on from there, those seats there
are
where your pads will run up and down that way. So just get a flat blade screwdriver, just take some of the corrosion off. Because it builds up, see? And you want your brakes to work nicely. The seals, I reused the seals again on this one because they're absolutely fine.
Yeah.
I'm not a believer in just changing them, if they don't need it. If they don't need it, they don't need it. Just use them again. That's nice. Right, brake pads. They're fine. Loads of meat on them.
Yeah.
You could rough them up with a bit of paper if you wanted to, but this bike ain't going on the road for a while.
Yeah.
Pop them back in there. Your 2 pins, see the corrosion on those?
Yeah.
We're going to clean those up a little bit.
Okay.
So, this will get a bit noisy. Nice and clean.
Yeah.
And yes, I took the skin off my fingers, lots, with that. There's enough blood of mine in there for us to be related. The spring thing.
Oh, yes.
You see, it's different both sides.
Yes.
So don't force it. It will go in one way and not the other. And I don't think it's that way. It was, look, 'cause it doesn't want to go in under the pin.
Right.
So that was right. Pop that in there. These just stop your brake pads chattering. It goes in roughly like that. It's nicely under that pin. When you put these pins in, make sure your hole is facing upwards so you can get your R-clip in.
Oh, yes.
Now that one was more luck than judgment because I'd forgot to look. But he's facing up. So if we pop that one in now, through the brake pad, push that down, through the other one, get the hole up top, pop it through. And pop your R-clips in. you know what I forgot to do?
What?
Put some red rubber grease, copper grease on the brake pads.
I was going to ask if you do that.
Shall I do it?
Yeah. And that goes on the back of the pad, between the pad and the piston.
Yeah, but
Or does
the edges.
Yeah.
Take the arc clips back out. Let's do this properly. Otherwise, defeats the object of what we're doing. Right, pop that. Copper grease. Don't use anything else other than copper grease. Other greases are available. Not the BBC, are we? I know. Oh shit! That really annoys me when they say that. Everybody knows other cereals are available.
I know.
Right. Copper grease. See where the pistons hit?
Yeah.
Bit round there. More importantly,
Where it slides.
yeah.
But whatever you do, don't put it on the pad.
Well, it stops from squealing.
No, you're the one who's going to be squealing.
Yeah. You'll be squealing when you're coming up to a junction and fuck all's happening. Did I say fuck all then?
Yeah, you.
Can you delete that?
No, I think
Can you
you're
bleep
allowed.
it? Share with.
Well, bleep,
Yeah.
I might do, yeah.
Do some bleeps. I love bleeps. I love
Bleeps.
what do they call them?
Bloopers.
Bloopers.
Yeah.
Jim Carrey films. When
they do
when they do the
outtakes,
outtakes. I
yeah.
love outtakes. They're just so natural and funny. There it is. Right. Pop that back in. I've already done this once. Pop that back in. These are just straight. They're both. You can't get them the wrong way around.
Right.
Some pads are different one side to the other. We'll have a bit of grease on these. Look. Keep everything lubed. Go with the bottom one. Through the pad. Hole up top. Pop it in. Open those up. Is that the right way? Looks like it.
So other than the project bike here, do you have any other bikes inbound? Oh, because I know we've
Yes.
got that engine to do, haven't you?
I've got the engine to do. I learnt something on watching one of the car programs the other day, where I might have made a bit of a mistake.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, we'll come to that later. Come to that at the end. Remind me again, and we'll talk about that. Right, so everything's nicely greased up, apart from the actual braking surface.
Yep.
Put the R clips in. There. Right, that can go back on the bike.
And that's got a good nipple in it already.
Yes, nice nipple. Yeah, and it's greased. Grease the threads, then you haven't got to go through the effort of snapped ones and trying to get them out. If they come out, clean the threads up, grease them up. Grease everything, grease and oil.
Yeah.
That's good to go.
Great. Let's get it on the bike then.
Right. Pistons are right back. Nipples finger tight but done up. Everything's back in.
Yeah.
And that is a rebuilt caliper. So, pop that on there. Bit of grease. I will try and find a proper bolt for it. I've probably got one.
Yeah.
The bits and bobs tub behind you
Oh, yes.
is just a godsend. If ever I'm walking around and I see a washer on the floor or a bolt or a nut, it goes in my pocket and it comes home and it goes in there. And I've always got something to get me out the shit.
Oh, when you're away from the house.
Wherever. There's the 14. There's nothing worse than having odd bolts. That's that. I like this little tool.
Yes.
It's only a cheapy one, but I just wanted one to see how much I would use it. Right, 2 washers on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, one goes at the back, through there. These are banjo bolts.
Yeah.
One goes on the front, and you pop it back on. Careful not to catch the threads on anything here, because the calipers are made of alloy, aluminium, one or the other. Bit tight, not too tight. You don't snap it.
Yeah, you don't want to strip the threads on.
I don't want another bloody stud to get out. Right, that's back on. Nipples are done up both sides, so we can take the pipe clamps. This is why I love rubber clamps, rubber pipes, rubber brake pipes all the way. Take them off now.
Yeah.
Because they're all done. What we're going to do now is bleed it. Okay. Now this will either go easy or not quite so easy, and there are so many different ways of bleeding brakes.
Do you need 2 people to do it, or can you do it yourself?
No, do it yourself.
Right. Okay.
Do it yourself. I'll drop the bike down because I need to get up top and put fluid in it that Gary kicked over earlier.
Yes. Sorry. Well, nothing goes smoothly, does it?
Right. Ooh, that's gone empty. So, fluid.
This is the project bike that is
.4.
that we're I got a little spider friend. Oh, did have a spider friend.
Bloody things are a pain in the ass. Right. It's on a bit of a slant, this is, so you can't really fill it up. I'll put that out of Gary's way in case he kicks it over again. Right, now, rule of thumb on a car, when you're bleeding brakes,
Yeah.
you start with the back corner that's furthest away from your master cylinder.
Yeah.
So, with the bike, I'm not really sure. I don't think it really makes any difference, because on this particular bike, you've got 2 brake pipes.
Yeah.
That come up into this block here.
Oh yeah, like a manifold.
It's like a splitter.
Yeah.
So you've only got one pipe going off to your master cylinder.
Yeah.
So that feeds that. I will start with the furthest one away because, well, it's furthest away. So we'll just do it anyway. Do you reckon them bolts have broken off that? I'm not getting those out. So, brake pipe. Easiest way of bleeding brakes is with a walking pipe. There it is. Clear pipe. Use black if that's all you've got, but if you can get hold of a clear one,
Yeah.
brilliant.
All right.
Brilliant. So, start from the furthest one away. Pop that on. He says. There you go. All right, that's on. Now I'll show you why I love clear pipes. Where's that bottle of fluid?
The one I kicked over earlier.
Yeah, there it is. I'll have this here just in case. 8mm for the nipple. Right, now hopefully this will just bleed itself. But don't forget to keep the reservoir topped up, because when that goes, you got to start again.
How's it go?
It's not even going down yet, is it? Leave that there. It should, in theory, once it's filled the 2 pistons up in behind,
Yeah.
it comes out of the highest. Here he comes. Look.
Hey,
See the bubbles?
look at that.
That's bleeding itself. Now, while it's doing that, I've got the pipe up in the air,
Yeah.
so we can watch that.
Oh, yes.
The bottle's here in case it starts getting a bit full. But now that's bleeding itself. That's gravity. From the top to the bottom, pushing the air out.
That's cool, that is.
It's brilliant, but don't forget the bloody reservoir.
Yeah, don't let it run dry.
It's going down slowly. This isn't a great reservoir. It's probably on the wrong handlebars because it's not very level. Oh, look at that. Now, when the bubbles stop, in theory, now it's rising. Look, where's that spanner? I don't want that to come over. I'd say that's nearly bled.
That's cool, right?
Oh,
I was expecting you to have to pump the lever.
Still bubbles coming up, look. I'm going to stop there. Yeah, I'm going to stop there on that one. And drop that in there. Oh, that was nice and easy. They're not always like that. If this one does the same, what I might need you to do in a minute, Gary,
Yeah.
is if you can put the camera somewhere where you haven't got to hold it.
Yeah.
So I want you to put some weight on the back.
To lift the front off.
Just to lift the front off to show.
Oh.
Have you stopped?
No,
Still going, eh?
I can do.
Well, let's just watch these bubbles again to bring it with you.
Oh, yeah.
All right, hopefully you get bubbles again. Hold the pipe up. This is why I love clear pipe, because you can see what's going on. There it is, look.
There
Look
she
at
comes. Look at that.
that. Why no air? Because we've already bled that down to the splitter.
Oh, yes.
And I don't think I drained this. There may be, in a minute, there may be bubbles, because there may be some in this pipe still.
Yeah.
I'm going to stop that there. And develop.
But then will that, you're going to have to pump that a bit to get the pads out onto the disc.
Yeah,
you need to top
and
the
that's
reservoir.
where it will use the fluid.
Yeah.
So this, you need to be careful with this now, because if you pump this too quick, this will spit.
Oh, will
It
it?
spits out.
Oh, all right.
And if you've got nice paintwork, you don't want to get brake fluid on your paintwork.
So you don't. No.
So I'd say we're good to go. Is there a little cap over it? Sometimes, see that little hole in there, that little dark hole?
Yeah.
That's where it will spit from.
Oh, right,
Move
okay.
your camera.
Move back then.
That should be. Can you see the pads?
You just.
Right, see the gap down on the inside one?
Yeah.
That should be pumping out. Might take a second or two. I hope it's pumping out anyway. The fluid's going somewhere.
Here you go.
Going?
Yeah, this caliper's just closed up now.
Right, this has now started spitting because there's some pressure building up. We should start getting a brake in a minute. But then pads all gone. That's gone together. That's gone together. We've still got no brake. So there could be some air in it.
Yeah.
We don't actually know if this master cylinder works. The bike's been stood for so many years. Right, I'm just going to bleed each caliper again.
Okay.
Again, gravity. See how much air comes out. Loads. Look at that. Loads of air. My lights just flicker then.
They did.
Right. I might stop that there. Do the same with the other side. I bet you're going to see some air again. Right. Keep a good eye on that. Watch for air. Loads.
Yeah.
Loads of air.
Oh,
More in
yeah.
this one than the other side. That will probably give us the brake now. In theory. We'll see. That's why I love clear pipes.
Yeah.
You can see exactly what's going on. Right, let's see if that gives us a brake. Yep. Got a brake, albeit still a bit soft.
Yeah.
But we have a brake. It's not quite going back to the handlebar. Diva. We got a brake.
Hey.
There's a little bit too much travel on there for my liking, but there might still be a tad more air in it.
Yeah.
But we have a brake. So, if I just top that up and put the lid on and just get you to put some weight on the back.
Yeah.
So I can spin the wheel.
So what's that bit you got going in there then?
That's like a gasket that seals it, but it's also this piece here. We'll have a gap there it is. It'll have a gap somewhere.
Right.
Right. It's so that this doesn't create a vacuum.
Oh,
when you pump your
okay.
brakes and your brakes start wearing down, obviously your pistons are going to go in further, need more fluid, so the fluid in here will drop.
Yeah.
And if there's no inlet to allow it to drop, it'll suck it back up.
Right.
So
So
there's your
that
little
allows
gap.
air in, so that's almost like a diaphragm.
Well, it allows air in, but it's sealed with this.
Yeah.
It's clever. So as your brake fluid goes down, that'll take up the space and keep the moisture out your brake fluid, in theory.
That's good.
It's very clever. So pop that back on. I have cleaned the surfaces. I'm going to just put a little bit of grease on them screws because you don't want them buggers seizing up either. Screwdriver. Not too tight. There you go. Nice. Fluid in there. Now, you should see a gap, like a level. It says lower there. But
Okay.
because these are probably aftermarket handlebars,
Right.
that really, in theory, should be horizontal. But it didn't on this because somebody's changed the handlebars.
Oh, I see. Yeah, it
expect.
just needs rotating
Yeah.
around. Yeah.
So we have got a brake. A nice, well, I say a nice brake. It's a little bit on the spongy side, but it's coming. It's coming. Look,
Yeah.
it's a brake that'll stop you.
Nice.
I wouldn't want to stamp on that too hard.
I mean, once this bike's up and running, it's going to get the brakes bled again anyway, isn't it? And a good...
Depends how long it takes me.
Well, that's true, yeah.
Every 2 years, you have to change the brake fluid. So if I don't crack on with it, yeah, it won't take 2 years. Just got to get a spark on that bloody engine.
We'll get this because we've made progress on this.
We have made progress. We've got plans, and it involves going right back to basics and tracing wires and making sure everything.
But we've got, because there's I think we agree that there's a section of loom missing.
There's definitely a piece of loom missing. Yeah, it's all a bit confusing at the minute, but I reckon the day that me and you, because you're good with electronics, I'm good with nuts and bolts. So I think the day that we get together on this, I'll be surprised if we don't get it running.
Yeah.
We only need a spark. If we get a spark consistent on both cylinders, I will be putting the intravenous feed on it and putting fuel to it and making some noise, hopefully.
Yeah.
So
we've just got to do a little bit more digging yet to get some information. I'm looking for a loom
Open
diagram.
up the loom and trace where everything's going. Or I think it needs the fuel pump relay in it to connect circuits.
Yeah.
This will keep changing every week. Every time we think we're nearly there. It will, won't it?
It will do, yeah. And then we can go, actually, at the end of it.
It was this.
It was
or
this.
It was that.
Yeah.
Or we had to do this.
Yeah.
Nobody knows everything about bikes, and especially one that's been meddled with as much as this one. You know, if I was to take this to a real mechanic, he wouldn't just go, yeah, well, that's your problem.
No.
Because there's so much investigation work to do to trace wires and find out what's happening.
Yeah.
You turn the key on, you get ignition lights, and we've got power to the starter motor so we can crank the engine over. We've got an oil light that goes out. We've got a neutral light. So a lot of it is working. But as of yet, we haven't got a fuel pump relay. We cannot get one for this bike. But I have looked into a VMAX fuel relay, which looks identical.
Okay.
It's got to be the same in it.
Well, the thing is, with a lot of these, I mean, there's other YouTubers like Matt Armstrong, when he does the cars, he could look on a relay or something, and it might be for, I don't know, like an Aston Martin.
Yeah.
Get the code off it. Oh, no, the best one was his Lamborghini Murcielago, I think it was.
Yeah.
Had throttle bodies on it.
Yeah.
Lamborghini throttle bodies, and they were ridiculously priced.
Mm.
Looked at the code, and they're off a Volvo.
It's yeah. Yeah, I don't
So we
doubt
got
that.
the Volvo throttle bodies, and they worked perfectly. So if we could find...
I reckon a 91 VMAX will be the right one. That I'm hoping this wheel's going to just turn freely. How about that?
When it was jammed before, wasn't it?
It wouldn't turn.
Hey, look at that.
And that's it. Job done.
There you go.
If that explodes my belly, then you would have cut that out.
Yeah.
My little overhang.
Yeah. Comes to us all, mate. I've got one growing myself.
Fuck off.
So, yeah. So there you go, folks.
That's brakes.
Seized brake
That was the
caliper.
easy way of bleeding brakes.
Right.
It ain't always that good.
No.
Clear piece of pipe so you can watch what's going on.
Yeah.
If nothing's happening, nothing's going on.
Yeah.
I did have a problem with the brake once where, you know that little hole I said about that spits?
Yes.
Blocked.
Ah.
And I couldn't get this bloody bike to bleed. And in the end, I stripped all this down and I poked it and blew it all through with the airline, and it all worked. and it was easy. And sometimes as well, your brake nipples, if you're not using brand new ones,
Yeah.
they can get some crap in them and block up. In fact, that one there was blocked.
Oh, right.
And I poked it and blew it
Are
out.
they the size of a fuel jet then, or something? Or are they bigger than that?
What?
They're bleed nipples.
The nipples, they're
Yeah.
there in the tray.
The what's the word I'm looking
That
for?
one's a bit swollen. Those are your nipples.
Yeah, I was just looking at how big the oh, it comes out. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Right. Out the little hole there. Tiny. Yeah, so you can easily see how that's going to get blocked.
That can get blocked up, yeah. But for God's sake, grease it back in. Clean the threads and grease it back in. Otherwise, you've got the trouble of a snapped off one and having to get that out, and it is a nightmare.
Yeah.
It is really, especially if you ain't got a welder. I don't know how I'd have got it out without the welder.
Oh, yeah, talking of the welder.
Yes.
So you just put it on its maximum, did you? So that's
I did on the
130 amps.
Yeah. I don't know. Is it 30 amps?
130 amps.
It's 130, is it?
Yeah.
Don't tell the missus.
Yeah, it's 130 amps on the...
Yeah, I did have it on a lower setting, but the weld kept breaking off. I probably did it 5 times before it worked. And I think every time, don't be discouraged if you do it this way. Don't be discouraged if it breaks off a few times.
Yeah.
Because the more you weld it and heat it up, it heats, expands, it contracts as it cools, breaking away that rust that's holding the stud in. When it came out, and there it is. Happy days.
And there it is. The little bugger.
Yeah, I ought to frame that.
Yeah.
That was a good one. It was a good one.
Right. Thank you all.
Thank you.
See you in the next one.
Bye.
Cheers.